Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Anatomy of the Deal. Shannon Welch has experience with people from diverse cultures that gives her the ability to provide exceptional service regardless of background or financial status. Shannon services the vast majority of residential and commercial real estate. She works with investors, home buyers, sellers, commercial clients, and offers property management and project management services. Her understanding, hard work, customer service, and unique competitive edge helped to expand her presence and professional network within the real estate community. Helping people buy homes, sell their homes, and find good investment properties is something that is second nature to Shannon. She recently expanded her services and built a network of relationships with new construction developers, wholesalers, tax sellers, and various off-market outlets. Shannon loves the diverse group of people and the sense of community on various sides of Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. She serves on the board for the Realtors Women's Council of Illinois as first vice president. She's an active member of the Dearborn Realtors Board and serves as on the Agent Leadership Council for the Keller Williams Elite office in Oak Lawn. Help us to welcome Shannon Welch, your host for this evening.
Thank you, Madam Sanina. I am going to, let me put my slideshow on. Slideshow. Okay, there we are. Now, you know what? Is it okay for me to show it like this? Can you guys see my screen or no? You can't see it yet? Okay. All righty. Okay, can you guys see the screen now? You give me a thumbs up. Okay, okay. All right, well, everybody can hear me. Give me another thumbs up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I will get started. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. So if I had to introduce myself, this is what I would show you. My background is so diverse. I started real estate at the age of 24, 25, straight out of UIC. Somebody came to me who was actually one of my top investors right now. And he said, you want to buy and flip properties? I was working. I made a little bit of money. We talking about $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 out of college. And all I know is he said, I'll make the money. You just use your credit and I'll show you the deals. And that's how my real estate career started. So I'm buying and flipping homes at 24, 25, 26, 27, cashing out 50, 60, 75,000. At that age, you have no clue what I was doing with the money, but I was at every All-Star and NFL Super Bowl for at least 10 years. So you imagine where my money was going, and I had a young son. So that's when the passion for real estate started, and I started investing. And I just networked and met people. And then twofold, 10 years later, I get my license, do nothing with it. And then in the last 5 years, I became more active. And then in the last 3.5 years, I became a full-time realtor and left corporate America. It was always something that I loved to do, and it came natural to me. So I figured, might as well make it permanent. No need to talk about accolades. I don't do numbers. I just do my job and what I love to do. So I don't really call it a job. I just do what comes second nature to me, as the bio said. So I will go to, My purpose. Purpose is to provide information and resources that will assist people in understanding real estate buying, investing, financing, securing your asset, understanding your credit, and insurance. I like to share concrete information and honest information based on my experience. So everything that goes on today is basically what I've experienced, what I've seen, what I've known to work for me and to get the results that I want to see. Also, if people have questions and myths that surround the industry and just common things that go on, people say, or you might want to get some clarity on it, I'm here to clear those things up. My profession, I'm a realtor, I'm an investor, and I'm a property manager, and I am also a project manager. I do have a general contractor license, but property manager handles that all. So with that being said, these are rules that I live by. The reason why I'm stating these things is because in real estate, it's all about mindset. It's about, like people were asking me, why are you out here working? It's faith over fear. I'm a child of God, so everything that I do, I know that I'm covered and protected. So these are things that I live by, and I say often, run the marathon. This is not a race. If you put all the work in, you'll see the results. Know your funding source, how to make what you see possible happen. This is the first step and the most important step, and a lot of people skip that because they're looking online and they see certain things, but you don't know where you stand financially or credit-wise. And this one, the third one, get out your feelings. There is no room for personal feelings or emotions in real estate, in my opinion. It's not personal. Everything is an asset, a deal, and a number. So learn the game and learn the numbers. Have a process, a blueprint, a plan for common tasks and implement processes. Depending on the style of a house, what I mean by that is if it's a bungalow, a raised ranch, or a split level, or a 2-story, we got different plans. We tweak them. If it's a different color scheme or things like that, we have things that are common that we use. So I'll get more into that as I go over some of the projects that I've actually completed. And the second part, this is pretty much the bulk of my business: relationships, partnerships, network, and a team of trusted professionals. I would not be where I am today without the people that are always on my team, whether we disagree or don't agree or agree 110%, but we respect each other in business. And without respect and trust, you cannot do business together. Also, leverage. You can't do everything. You can't be a jack of all trades. I hear people say it all the time, but no, you need to master one thing. Once you master that, then you can move on to something else. So in the meantime, I'm not doing hammers, so I got to hire somebody to do that. I don't like to run around doing lock boxes and inspections, so I leverage people to do that. So that's what I mean. Leverage to do the dollar per hour stuff that's lower income so that you can do the high producing things. And then numbers make sense. Don't overcomplicate it. It's simple math. Women lie, men lie, kids not lie, but the numbers don't. Numbers never lie if you look at the numbers up front. It's simple math. And the last thing is lots of small wins builds experience, fosters relationships, fosters character, and opens the door for larger and more profitable projects. The reason why I say that is because so much of our world is based on fantasy, which is social media and the internet. But you don't see the big, the small, and all the steps that people take to get where they're going. So I always keep that in mind when I talk to people. You don't necessarily have to go for the $400,000 deal right now. Let's just try to get you to cash out and get some experience. Any questions? Okay, so I think somebody move some of my slides. I got a blank slide. Okay.
Madam Shannon.
Yes.
So they're saying it's a little small. So if you can just put it in like a slideshow view so they can just see the slide. We're seeing your whole screen.
Okay. play from the start. Okay, can you see it now?
Yep, that's much better. Thank you.
Sorry.
No worries.
Okay. Okay, financing and funding sources. All of the companies on here are pretty much people that I have dealt with, successfully closed a transaction with, and are great at leading people, whether you're a first-time home buyer and this is your first time investing, or you're somebody that's experienced and you need a couple of hard money areas to hard money companies to work with, or if you are buying land or properties that are deemed to be torn down and you want to do new construction. So one of the primary things that I teach to people who do a first-time investment is, or first-time home buyer purchase, I've been very successful with the purchase with the 203K. Some people buy a starter home and then they move on to a larger home and they're able to purchase with equity and sell and cash out. I practice that, and when I meet people, whether they're couples or singles, that's single people, that's how I guide them. It just depends on their budget and what their ultimate goal is, because you can always start small and then leverage that property and move on to something bigger and better once you actually, you know, get your portfolio, your credit, and learn how to save and how to manage your property together. So like I said, all of these companies, Loan Depot, the Federal Savings Bank, Lima One Capital, Ground Floor, Chicago Community Loan Fund, Ricasa, Constructive, Chicago Bridge Loan is a client of mine. Lima One Capital is a client of mine. Associated Bank, just closed 2 deals with them this month. Self-Help Credit Union, Private Lending Group. I've got 2 hard money deals on the, I'm the seller side, but on the buyer side. So all of these people are still lending money. Acquisition options. Most of you on the call are not novice. So as I stated, the first one is home ownership, owner occupied. If you do not have a primary residence, either I'm going to push you to get something that you can rehab so you have equity, whether it's a house or it's a building. Now, some people are okay with that, some people aren't, but people don't realize once you invest in that house, if you overextend your budget and you're basically living to pay the mortgage, the chances of you being able to branch out and start doing some other things like fix and flip, buy and rent, new construction, and do a deconversion project on something like a building, or somebody's under contract now and they want to change a single family home that was deconverted back to a 2-flat. So those options are there, except the budget is large. And of course, if you tie yourself up with a large owner occupied property, then the chances of you being able to do other things are harder unless you make a lot more money. And that's what I don't know when my slides coming up. So websites and research for me. I tell people that your realtor is your lifeline. Your realtor is the person that pretty much can explain deals, interpret deals, and if you send them something, they should be able to point you in the right direction. Majority of my deals have come from the auction websites, the MLS, a few are Cook County Land Bank, a lot are title company, and a lot are tax sales. Because back when I started, that was the bread and butter. It was so many foreclosures. Now it's starting to dry out and a lot of the homes on auction are occupied. So I am doing a lot more Cook County Land Bank. HUD Home Store is for my first time home buyers. I do a lot more tax sales and I am doing wholesale. Live auction, of course, that stopped due to COVID. I was in the midst of learning from 2 of my investors how to go downtown and actually go to the auctions. There are not a lot of minorities down there. But if you learn that game, they are buying those properties for very, very low. Kind of similar to auction or zone.com or something you might have got through the tax sale. So those are some of the best deals. The deals are out there. There's plenty of options. It just depends on your budget, your time, the talent you hire, and the resources that you have, meaning, between you and your realtor, your attorney, and your team, how you can put the deal together. I'm not sure if anybody uses any of these websites, but I'll show you probably 3. You know what? I think all of my deals that I have on here are from the MLS. Know your numbers and understand the components to get to the finish line, which is what I call hashtag cash out. Acquisition cost and purchase price. A lot of people, they only look at that number, but then they don't realize you have to calculate your scope of work budget, your construction and rehab costs. Then you look at your ARV. That is the first 2 steps. What is the purchase price? What can I sell this for? And how much is it going to cost me to hold and rehab, pay the interest and the loan, secure this property? Do I need to get a renter, a tenant in here? How long is all of that going to take? A good professional team is going to tell you how to do that. A lot of times on ARV, I under calculate so that I over deliver with my clients. That's just how I work. You're never going to get the top of the line with me because I can't predict how the market's going to shift. So my numbers are always modest, so my clients always end up making more than I originally said that they would make. That's just because how I do comparables. So these are all the components to any deal. I mean, it really doesn't matter whether it's a building, a house, new construction, just depends on the weather and time. So I'll go over some of the examples of a few of my clients: hard money fix and flips, and 203K FHA. So here's one, 12821 South Elizabeth in Calumet Park. This property was sold through auction. That's how we acquired it. I went online and I bid it for my client, and he got it for $41,750. I think you guys can see some of the pictures there. You can see the snow's out. You can see it's old. It has hardwood floors, but it's all just wood. The basement is not finished. And so this was in 2018. And the buyer paid a 5% premium, but he did a hard money loan. With my rule of thumb is with raised ranches, I know for sure whether it's a full rehab or it's a cosmetic rehab, my number is always on the low end, 25. If it's our professional crew that we always work with, and it's the cosmetic rehab, that's going to cover the rehab and anything extra. If it's extensive, then we're saying 45 to 55. This is a traditional raised ranch with a full basement, another bedroom in the basement, and a bath. Those are my strategic numbers. They really don't deviate that much unless you just run into a disaster. If you want to build a garage, we just did one in Calumet Park, $10,000, $12,000. You really can't get around that. That's how much it costs to do a garage in Chicago. So this is the after. Beautiful home. Profit for the investor was $40,000 after all of his costs. Sold it at $147,000. He did pay closing cost credit. I calculate closing cost credit with anybody who sells through me. Automatically, I'm gonna add 12%. Like I said, I over calculate, so they're not expecting they're not expecting more than they're actually gonna receive. So $40,000 is a good cash out for a rehab that didn't take but a couple months in Calumet Park and was under contract in the first week. And here's the breakdown. And here are some of the after photos that you can see. Refinish and restain the hardwood floors, 2 new bathrooms. The kitchen is a galley. It was a big living room. So the breakdown is $42,000 acquisition, $43,000 in rehab costs, $2,100 in soft costs, and $5,200 in closing cost and holding costs. And as you can see, that $13,899 closing costs, whatever the purchase price is, which is the ARV, I'm automatically going to take, like I said, 6% off, because we live in Chicago and buyers ask for closing cost credit. You decide whether you want to be crazy with it and give 6, or you want to give 3 or 3.5. But the chances of you not paying closing costs in Chicago is slim to none, whether you're in the suburbs or the city. And it doesn't matter the price point, because people at $500,000 ask for closing costs too. So it was sold at $147,000, and there's the profit again. Here's another one. This is Dalton. This is a larger property. It's a quad. It had 4 levels. As you can see, it was listed at $53,900 and it sold for $49,700. I think we got this from, HomePath. So I went on homepath.com, did the 20-some page application, and there you go. This is the after. On this side here, you can see some of the pictures, and it sold for $148,000. So that's $144,047 47 South Kenwood in Dalton. His profit on this one, like I said, this is the same investor that I've known since my 20s. We continue to do work together. Him and his wife actually just closed on a house today. So we just know numbers. We work well together. So as you can see, he did the outside, he did the garage, he finished the interior. There's some basement pictures that look really good. And this was a quad level. So it was 4 plus an additional room plus 2 full and 1 half bath. Let's see. Here is another example. I have about 12 more minutes. So I will slow through this one. I also have 3 clients that rehab buildings. And why I say it's such a blessing, I was showing a property when Woodlawn was just booming and all the houses and buildings were decapitated. I was walking in a building to do a showing, and a guy who's a big flipper of buildings, he was like, "Hey, you sell a lot of buildings?" I talk good game. Sure did. I told him I sell a whole bunch of buildings. And since that day, I sell a whole bunch of buildings. So this guy here has introduced me to not only one top lending company in Chicago who actually buys and sells with me. He also introduced me to another one, and he introduced me to his family. So that's why I say the way you treat people and do your job and you're confident and honest, it just leads to repetitive business. But anyhow, $59,000 2-flat. We got this through Wells Fargo for $59,000. So list price is $50,000. We paid $59,000. On buildings on a 2-flat, as you can see the pictures, they're old. Everything got to come out. Hardwood floors are okay. You can see they have the dog's doors up there. Go back. So a rule of thumb for me is I use $35,000 per floor plus another $35,000 for new mechanics, new roof, new HVAC, and if the basement needs to be spray washed and cleaned out, and we gotta do the utility room and the boxes and all of that, and miscellaneous costs. So I always just over add, but 35 is a general rule for a 2-flat or a 3-flat. Just add per floor, including the basement. And then if you start talking about back porches, and then if you have to get architectural drawings, I automatically just throw $10,000 in for that. So that just comes from experience. Like the architect was on yesterday. He was really good explaining that.
Madam,
yes.
You have 2 questions in the chat.
Okay, go ahead.
Gina wants to know, can you define soft costs? Is that attorney's fees, project management fees, and insurance? And then she has a second question.
That is all of those things. And then sometimes you end up adding extra things on to the project. Like for instance, your realtor might come by and say, you're going to have to change this landscaping out in the front, or we noticed that there's a couple break-ins in the area. So not only did we have to just get the regular security alarm, we had to upgrade and get cameras and internet and stuff like that. So those are some of the soft costs associated with it. And yes, the insurance is included.
And then the second question is, do you recommend acting as your own general contractor and hiring your own subs, or do you recommend hiring a GC?
That's what I do. I actually prefer to manage my own project. And the reason why is because if you leave your hands and money if you entrust somebody else for your project, in my experience, there are a lot of contractors that don't do their job and work, and I can't put my name on them. So I decided to do it myself. Now, there are a bunch of great contractors, which we have a couple, and they do all of our projects, but you have to go with your gut and trust that person. I think that if you get a general contractor, you have to have a item lined agreement upon what he's doing. And it goes as far as, with me, if you're not on the project when I'm there, we look, if I'm here at 7 and you're not here, I give you 2 strikes and then you're out. If I have to go get materials and you're not working by 9 or 10 o'clock, you think you're going to be at Home Depot or Menards or wherever we're going, that's not going to work. So you set the tone with the contractor if you're going to use them. But I like control. So I want to hire my own subs. The contractor, you can hire them and use their license. And the agreement can be, I'm using your license and insurance, but I'll hire my own people. And honestly, that's the best way to do it. Unless it's somebody you really trust and have a relationship with. That same building, 7845 Chappelle, sold for $285. That just closed sometime last year. I had like over 20 offers, but like I said, he got it for $59, sold for $285. All those costs that we talked about are there, and his profit, $126,000. That's some of the changes. As you can see, it's just the new windows, the hardwood flooring. That's a bad picture, but they restain and shine the flooring really dark, which is nice. They did the bathrooms really nice. Like I said, that's a repeat client. And then I was going to show you all another property, which is on my MLS. You guys can see my screen. This is a HUD home. So this closed in February 2018. As you can see, I overbid. I am a professional at bidding on HUD homes, Fannie Mae, Home Path, all of that. It's a numbers game. If you're gonna go low, you're not gonna win. That's just the name of the game. And I don't work with people that bid low, because you're wasting your time and you wasting mine. You got to get in the game. That's what it is. You got to get in the game. So 52.9 is what my client got the property for. We have our own crew. We're all family. So he really just cashed out on this deal. He sold it for $159. He asked me to list it for $169, and I told him it's going to sit for 60 days. And look, when we got a contract and we had to do a $5,000 concession. So what happened? He lost 10 grand plus another 5. He priced it at $159, maybe $164.9. We would have only lost a 5K instead of the 10. But sometimes people, you got to do what you got to do. So let me show you the before. And I think this is how it looked before. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. Hardwood floors are good. You can see the basement there. Nothing to it. We built the garage as well. No, we did siding on the garage. And this is the after at $159.9. As you can see, we added a bedroom in the basement and we added another half bath. And these are staging photos. That is the living room. And you can see the kitchen has 2 sides. Bedroom, 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 bath. And then you can see the basement, big long basement. That's the raised ranch. The bedroom's right there. And this is the extra additional area on the side. We actually did the bar, and then that's the yard and the new siding on the garage, and we put the fence up. And there were two guys on this project. So I want to say they split the cost, and I couldn't find the number. That's why I didn't have it on the slide. I want to say both of them at least got 35 because they split the cost and the crew. So you purchase it for 51, you got your own crew, you put 35, 40 in, you sell it for 159, you guys split the cost, you guys got 30 a piece, maybe 26 a piece, but that's a good deal. It's $26,000 more they didn't have. So I do auction and I do tax sale. I will be honest with you, when I first started with the tax sales and the auction, I had to be mindful of who I was dealing with, because I'm about buying our block and our land, and the people I was dealing with they didn't have our best interest at heart. So now that I'm more experienced and more mature, I definitely try to look out for people that are actually trying to better our neighborhoods and not just go up on our prices so they pricing us out the neighborhood. I actually like to work with families and then people that like to invest and just take back some of the neighborhoods that aren't doing so well. So
Madam
that's
Shannon,
information. Yeah.
I have 4 minutes remaining, and we have 3 questions in the chat.
Okay. Question.
Shanita would like to know, how long does the construction take?
So, a good project, quick. If we acquire in December, January, and February. So we're on the market by April, May, and June. So some people don't take those hits. We do the interior and then we do the exterior when the weather breaks. As long as the roofing intact, we'll get to that once the weather breaks. So that's what we're dealing with in Chicago. If we have permits and architectural drawings and we're dealing with municipalities, add another month. The typical project should not take more than 3 to 6 months. 6 months is a stretch. You just look to have to pay your interest and mortgage for 6 months. Anything beyond that meant somebody didn't keep their word, something didn't get done, and something's not right after that 6 months, because you can't be holding properties for 6 months. That's just like now you paying out your mortgage from your own house. So once we closed on Calumet last month. That same day they was at the village. We started work. Property already almost ready. We just had to build a garage and pour concrete. So if it's an easy flip, like I was saying, something with hardwood floors, you just skim coating and painting the walls, doing the hardwood floors over, new windows, new baths, new kitchen. Those projects are 3 months. You're not doing architects. You're not pulling new permits. Those are what I call higher end cosmetic. Three months on the easy one, 6 months on the hard one, on a building with building code violations, court proceedings, 7, until you learn the game, pay to play and get a good attorney, and you'll move through the court system a lot faster.
And then the next question was in line with that, and in reference to the last property that you just showed. She wanted to know, how long did that particular project take, and did that time include pulling permits?
That was Calumet City. Is that what you're referencing? I think that was Calumet City. Calumet City, we closed with HUD January, and then he didn't do anything. That means he sat on this. See, he closed 2018. Remember, I told you it was 2 partners with cash. So what that means is they financed themselves. So you see, when I listed it, I didn't list it until a year later. I have a lot of people like that. They finance their own projects. They don't hire crews. They only do is them, their brother, and another person, but he works on the side. So they can only do the project when they have time outside of their other jobs, whether it's masonry, carpentry, whatever it is. So it took him a year to do that project, self-finance. They didn't borrow any money. Now the other gentleman here, he doesn't know. This is quick turnaround. We close, and within 3 months, we ready to go. Those 2, those are, because we're dealing with somebody else's money. After 6 months, we don't want to pay the interest payments. We'll take that 1 month, but on here, we was right at the cusp on this 14447 Kenwood. Same thing on Calumet, we was right there at the cusp. So nobody wants to go past that six mark because it's starting to tax your pockets and cut into your profits. Okay, any more questions?
Madam Kenosha has a question. What is your experience with buying occupied homes from auctions?
Okay, I'll answer that, but this is off the record. There are some legal and some street ways that you can get people out of properties. So, yeah, We have
We're
we
recording.
yeah we have gone and knocked on your cousin's door.
Madam Shannon, you are recording. Thank you.
There are some legal and illegal ways. However, I find that if you go knock on someone's door and let them know that you're actually interested in the property, it's like cash for keys. How much can I pay you to leave and never go back? Everybody is not that politically correct. There are some other people that do other things. They wait till they leave and then they lock up the house. But I think if you talk to people, the people want money, they want to leave. But that's the, niche. And on auction, there are a lot of properties like that right now, unfortunately. So you have to get creative. That's how I started in real estate, getting foreclosures, and we flipped them. And I went to the people's house and knocked on the door. It works. Some might slam the door, but it's a numbers game. Somebody gonna say yes. See, Madam Sunita, I answered that politically correct.
I think you did a very good job teetering the line there. Thank you so much.
So yeah, that's occupied properties are good because it's not in the worst conditions. It's not in the worst conditions. And we write off for sight unseen. We just expect the worst. The budget just calls for a gut rehab. I mean, if you know the numbers, a lot of the guys that I work with, we don't necessarily gotta see the property. We go see the property right before it closes because we just want to verify our numbers. Can we scam a little bit off or a little bit over? The only time you run into problems is home buyers. Regular home buyers don't understand, but a savvy person that buys and sells real estate and has done it more than once, you won't run into that problem. Not with your guidance, you won't. So.
Do we have any other questions in the room? You can post them in the chat.
I want to say I can't even see. Okay, you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can still see it.
Okay. Well, I hope everybody learned something new, or maybe I put some new energy or fluff or fire underneath you. In real estate, everybody has their flow and their rhythm. I like control. If I can't control it, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably not gonna do it. And it doesn't matter whether I'm selling a home, it's investment property or whatever. If I meet you and Alicia, you're not cooperating, I'm gonna exit stage left because I can't control Alicia. She's not gonna give me control, and I need control so I can get Alicia her money. And literally, I have said that to my clients. Go back to your accounting job and let me do what I do. I'll get your check at closing. And it just comes from relationships and experience, but that's kind of how I am.
I love that, Madam Shannon. We do have another question for you. Gina, thank you for all the questions. Yes, Gina. I hope I'm saying your name right. She asks, when you prepare your scope of work, do you have a standard cost you like to use for drywall, like $25 per sheet, including materials and labor?
So I have been fortunate and I have not done a scope of work in over a year and a half. I have 2 strong crews, and the only thing I've had to do lately is tell them how to design and pick all of the finishes. I actually have not had to do a scope of work. Do I have samples of them? Yes, that sounds about right. And then we do have a flooring cost. So I'm not as technical with it like I was 2 years ago. That's something I took off of my plate. I'm better suited to just do the design and pick the finishes. And you guys figure out the rest.
Okay.
I probably can get you a copy of one so you can get a reference, because I have a couple on my computer.
We have 2 more questions. I think we're about to wrap. Shanita says, have you seen an increase in cost in materials or labor?
Oh, yes. Since last year, it seems like everybody went up on their prices. And now the gray and the porcelain all of that stuff costs a little bit more, and you have to be careful who you hire to put it in, because you don't want to mess up good porcelain and granite and tile. So prices have went up. They have went up because everybody's in the game. Once everybody learns the game, the prices go up. That's how it works.
Of course. All right, well, that wraps up our session. Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause, a silent round of applause for Madam Shannon with her wealth of knowledge and information. And we will be zoomed back into our next room in 40 seconds.
You guys got to click.
Uh-oh, I think you muted yourself.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm sorry. So I was trying not to cut you guys off in the middle of conversations this evening. And I just got a text message that I actually did cut out the other conversation. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I thought I actually gave you enough notice to let you know that we were heading back in. All right. Yes, agreed. So as we shared, you guys had 2 great rooms of information and content this evening. I want to open up the floor and have at least one person share with me, share with us something that they actually got out of their session. Don't all speak at once.
I nominate Gina from our room.
Hey, Gina, where you at? Gina, is Gina being shy? Gina had a lot of questions.
Someone posted in chat, Madam Cecilia. Anatomy of the deal. Average cost of rehabbing each floor is $35,000.
Great work. Great work. So I'm going to take pictures just so that you guys know. If you don't want to be in the picture, you can text me or email me and I'll blot you out. But since we can't be in a room together, I figured I had to be able to capture this this momentous time that we've been spending. So I'm looking in the chat room and it says Christina. So Christina says the average cost of rehabbing is each floor is $35. Each Shannon says each building. Nichelle Weathers said know your numbers. Wonderful. So Madam Elisha, would you like to share with us?
Yes, ma'am. Do I get a drum roll? Well, we have a little surprise reward for the first person that joined us this evening, and that is Christina Banks.
Whoop, whoop.
Christina, congratulations to you. You have received a $25 Amazon gift card.
I'll take that.
Wonderful. So, Miss Christina, if you would not mind making sure that Madam Elisha gets your email address privately. Madam Elisha, you can send her a message in the chat room so that that can be sent out to you this week. So thank you all for joining us this evening. We're wrapping up a little bit early, and so I believe that I saw our national president in the room. Nope. Let me make sure. No, I did not. Okay. That was someone else that had a name that looked like hers. So before we wrap up this evening, it's important that, number one, I acknowledge and thank both of the individuals, the talented individuals that shared in each of the rooms this evening, both Miss Shannon Welch sharing the anatomy of the deal and giving some tidbits on how we get out there and find the deals and fund the deals and knowing the importance of what to look for inside of that. I also have to give a big shout out to Austin Jarrett. Not only did Shani share with us, just what we need to be looking at and the questions that we need to be asking as it relates to investing in real estate from a legal strategy and position, how to protect ourselves and our investments and our financial futures from that regard. But her fab husband, she let me borrow him to create our video this weekend. So thank you so much, Javon, for managing to get that out there for us as well. Of course, you all know that our mission in this organization is to educate low to moderate income families and on home ownership, but it is also to continue to bring programming like this and more to the real estate professionals and to our industry such that we can continue to increase our knowledge base and increase our wealth and our positioning such that we can then go out and continue to share with the masses. So with that, Madam Elisha, who is our third vice president, is going to be pinning our website in the chat room. And if you are not a member, I am going to highly encourage you to join us as we continue to move our organization forward. We are the Realtors Women's Council of Illinois. Our membership is only $50 a year. That is it. It is only $50 a year. And with that being said, in order to be a member of the Realtors Women's Council of Illinois, you also need to be a member of our local chapter, which is the Dearborn Realtors Board. So if you are not a member of the Dearborn Realtors Board, I am going to highly encourage you to start your membership process there, and then come on over to the Realtors Women's Council of Illinois. There are some amazing opportunities that are happening, amazing education that's happening, even in this environment. I can't tell you from a national level down to a local level, all of the things that I have seen in the last, 45 to 60 days as it relates to how we continue to move the needle forward. And so, I believe Madam Elisha has put our website over on the chat. In addition, if you have family, friends, somebody else that you know that needs the information that you received last night, please let them know that we do have digital recordings that will be available for sale for only $15 once the week is done. So if they would like to purchase a digital recording, please feel free to share that information as well. But most of all, thank you all for being here. There are a lot of places that you could have been on this evening. So the Realtors Women's Council of Illinois would just like to say thank you for your continued support. And we look forward to seeing you on tomorrow. Have a good night.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you all.
Good night.